Even with all the problems that the modern era of TV has, it remains an absolute embarrassment of riches where quality is actually concerned. It simply is not physically possible to watch all of the great shows released in a single calendar year, and so of course we all have to pick and choose those which look the most appealing. And as the 2026 calendar starts to fill out, it's clear that viewers will once again have to make some grueling choices, because there's an absolute avalanche of banger series due to release over the next 12 months. So, let's get into them. I'm Ewan, this is Whatculture, and here are some of the most anticipated TV shows coming in 2026. First up, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Release date, January 18th, 2026. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is the second spin-off in the Game of Thrones universe, an adaptation of the prequel novellas Tales of Dunk and Egg, set roughly 80 years after House of the Dragon and 90 years before the main show. The series revolves around a hedge knight, Sir Duncan the Tall, aka Dunk, played by Peter Claffey, and his squire Aegon Targaryen, aka Egg, as they adventure across Westeros in their quest to become legends. Egg is also played by Sol Ansel. The spin-off will notably have a lighter tone than either of the two previous series, focused instead on the charming friendship between Dunk and Egg, which is really fun to say out loud repeatedly, though the trailers certainly suggest it still retains the epic scope, brutal action, and visual majesty of its predecessors. And just in case you're dreading what the future may hold for it, HBO has already renewed A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms for a second season, which just recently began shooting in Belfast.
Have you ever wanted to watch your favourite content whilst you're abroad and stay safe online? Well, we have an incredible deal for you. For just $2.50 a month, you can get Norton VPN, an easy-to-use VPN that won't slow you down, allows you to watch your favourite shows from around the world, and keeps your online activity safe and private, all with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Just scan the QR code on screen right now or use the link in the description to get Norton VPN for just $2.50 a month. Now, back to the video.
Next up, Wonder Man. Release date, January 27th, 2026. But the great many disappointed by the rather anonymous non-quality of the MCU's recent TV shows, Wonder Man, if you found it in your heart to actually watch the trailers because goddamn Marvel fatigue is real, well, this one actually looks like a bit of a breath of fresh air. The show itself is centered around Simon Williams, here played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, an actor who auditions for the lead role in a remake of the in-universe Wonder Man movie, and through various circumstances, ends up becoming the superhero for real. The reveal trailer is light on plot, but heavy on vibes, presenting the show as a tongue-in-cheek insider satire of both Hollywood and the concept of superhero fatigue, which we mentioned earlier. While there's a real danger that this could come off as disingenuous, it looks more fun and inventive than any recent MCU show. And in addition to Ben Kingsley reprising his role as Trevor Slattery, the cast also includes Ed Harris, Josh Gad, Joe Pantoliano, and many, many more. And on top of all of this, the first two of the series' 8 episodes will be directed by Shang-Chi and Spider-Man Brand New Day director Destin Daniel Cretton, so there's some pretty good signs that this one could be an about-face for Marvel in a good direction. Next up, Malcolm in the Middle, Life's Still Unfair. Release date, TBA, 2026. Of all the hit comedy shows to get a revival miniseries, few have been as avidly anticipated as Malcolm in the Middle, Life's Still Unfair, given that the legendary 2000s sitcom has remained immensely popular over the years, and yeah, the theme song is now in my head again. This 4-episode follow-up takes place roughly 20 years after the original show, picking up with Frankie Muniz' Malcolm, who now lives with his partner Tristan, played by Kiana Madeira, and daughter Leah, played by Kaylee Karsten. However, Tristan and Leah are pulled into the orbit of Malcolm's very extra family once his parents Hal and Lois, of course played by the brilliant Bryan Cranston and Jane Kaczmarek, demand their attendance at their 40th wedding anniversary. It's easy to be optimistic about this one, given that almost all major original cast members will be returning, save for Dewey performer Eric Sullivan, who no longer works as an actor, and production is being overseen by original creator Linwood Boomer. Again, great surname. For 2 decades now, fans have wondered what became of Malcolm and all his potential after that series finale, and now they'll finally get to find out. I'm really excited about this one. On the way, How to Get to Heaven from Belfast. Release date, February 2026. How to Get to Heaven from Belfast is the new series from Derry Girls creator Lisa McGee, an 8-episode comedy thriller romp in which 3 friends, played by Roshan Gallagher, Sinead Keenan, and Quillan Dunn, investigate the mysterious death of the 4th member of their childhood gang. What follows is reportedly a darkly comedic odyssey across Ireland and beyond, and if it retains even a sliver of Derry Girls' panache, it's sure to be one of the year's most talked about shows. All 8 episodes of this series will be directed by Michael Lennox, who previously helmed all 19 episodes of Derry Girls 2, ensuring that between him and McGee, expectations are understandably very, very high for another banger series from the duo. Next up, Silo, Season 3. Release date, TBA 2026. Apple TV Plus has kind of quietly become a must-have subscription service for fans of well-made science fiction, and one of the gemstones in that crown is Silo, based on Hugh Howey's acclaimed dystopian novel series. The 2nd season finished airing at the start of 2025 with one hell of a tease for what's to come, and if Season 3 can deliver satisfying answers to all those raised questions, it should make for one of the year's most compelling seasons of television. In addition to the existing ensemble cast led by Rebecca Ferguson of Mission Impossible fame, we know that Season 3 will introduce new characters played by Jessica Henwick and Ashley Zuckerman, who were briefly introduced at the very end of the previous season. And on top of all of this, the 4th and final season has been shooting since August and is due to wrap by early 2026, meaning we won't be left waiting years to see how it all ends. Next up, Scrubs Season 10. Release date, February 25th, 2026. It's been more than 15 years since Scrubs wrapped up its original run with the divisive intern spin-off season, and this revival seems to be centered around a similar concept as JD, Turk, and Elliot return to Sacred Heart Hospital to mentor a group of young new doctors. Many legacy characters are also back for recurring roles, including Dr. Cox, Carler, the Todd, and Hooch, and it goes without saying that there will surely be a few surprise cameos along the way, this being Scrubs and all. The 9-episode revival will also feature new characters played by the likes of Vanessa Bayer and Joel Kim Booster. And yeah, well, Scrubs' Season 8 finale gave JD and company a really kind of perfect send-off before unceremoniously sending them back for the perfunctory intern season, which the less said about the better. It'll be tough for most fans to resist the allure of reuniting with these beloved characters once again. Next up, Beef Season 2. Release date, TBA 2026. Netflix's Beef, not to be confused with the ongoing saga between it and Paramount and Warner Brothers, is one of the most distinctive and unforgettable drama series of the 2020s so far. A deliriously entertaining, Emmy-winning black comedy show led by firecracker performances from Steven Yeun and Ali Wong. And even though the limited series wrapped up conclusively enough, many hoped that Beef would return for another volume, and that it has, but with a twist. Beef's 2nd season will focus on an entirely new cast of their own feud that gets wildly out of hand, with a stupid good cast led by Oscar Isaac and Carey Mulligan, while the wider ensemble is filled out by Charles Melton, Kaylee Spaney, Yoon Yoo-jung, William Fichtner, and many more. To give some further specifics here, the plot will involve a young couple who witness a fight between their boss and his wife, which entwines them in the seedy underbelly of a country club and its Korean billionaire owner. Shooting reportedly wrapped back in May, and given that the first season released almost exactly a year after it wrapped, it's fair to say that Season 2 will drop in the first half of 2026. Whipping its way to your screens in 2026, it's Spider-Noir. Release date, TBA. If you, like me, can't get enough of Nicolas Cage's performance as Spider-Man Noir in the animated Spider-Verse movies, well, he's now set to take that role into the live-action sphere with this 8-episode limited series. Yeah, who saw this coming? Cage will play the title character as he reflects on his earlier life as a crime-fighting superhero in 1930s New York, while Lamorne Morris will play journalist Robbie Robertson, and the great Brendan Gleeson will portray a mob boss of no description. It's genuinely so unhinged that such a left-field spin-off project would ever get the green light, but considering how Spider-Man Noir was an easy standout in the Spider-Verse films, and Cage will surely have a ton of fun digging deeper into that character, this is sure to be a must-see. Like, sign me the hell up, give me more Spider-Man Noir all the time, please. Considering that Cage famously shied away from the TV realm for many years too, it's gonna be an absolute trip to see him finally fully embrace the small screen, which he's hyped up in previous interviews, so expect more of Cage in this medium going forward. Next up, The Boys Season 5. Release date, April 8th, 2026. The Boys has been one hell of a refreshingly edgy R-rated superhero series, but it's also fair to say that the formula and tropes are starting to feel a little bit tired. So it's kind of a relief that the upcoming 5th season will also reportedly be its last. Season 5 marks the culmination of The Boys' efforts to take down Anthony Starr's Homelander, and fans are practically chomping at the bit to see how the endgame finally plays out. Beyond the expected returning cast, we know that Supernatural alum Jared Padalecki will join Season 5 in a secret role, while Seth Rogen will make a cameo appearance, and Daveed Diggs will appear as a series regular too. Numerous main characters from spin-off series Gen V will also show up and presumably play a major role in how Homelander is finally taken out. And at least for anyone thirsting for more The Boys content once that main series is over, there's every intent to produce a 3rd season of Gen V, pending its renewal, which kind of seems like a no-brainer. Next up, Crystal Lake. Release date, TBA 2026. Oh man, these poor Jason Voorhees fans have been impatiently waiting for a new piece of live-action Jason media since 2009's remake of Friday the 13th, and now it's coming in a wholly unexpected but really exciting way. In place of a new Friday the 13th film, we're instead getting Crystal Lake, an A24 produced prequel TV show to the original 1980 movie, centered around the origin story for one of horror's most iconic mainstay villains. The story itself will be fronted by Jason's mother Pamela, but get this, she's played by Linda Cardellini, while a young Jason will be portrayed by Callum Vinson. Adrian King, who played original heroine Alice Hardy, will also appear in a currently undisclosed role. All sounds really juicy and fun. There is a slight caveat here in that the show has had a strained development which resulted in the dismissal of original showrunner Brian Fuller of Hannibal fame, which, oh my god, I wish I'd seen that version of the show too. For franchise fans though, it's simply a relief that something major is finally being done with the IP again. Next up, The Testaments. Release date, April 2026. The Handmaid's Tale may have finally concluded its run this past May, but of course that's far from the end of the franchise, as a sequel series is soon on the way, based on Margaret Atwood's 2019 follow-up novel, The Testaments. The Testaments takes place years after The Handmaid's Tale and will focus on June's daughter Agnes, as played by one battle after another breakout star, Chase Infinity. Infinity will be joined by Lucy Halliday as co-lead Daisy, while Anne Dowd will reprise her role as Aunt Lydia, and a supporting role will also be played by Amy Simons. Considering that Handmaid's Tale showrunner Bruce Miller stepped back from the series later in its run to start work on The Testaments, and Atwood wrote the source novel in coordination with the Handmaid's Tale TV show, There's every hope that this follow-up series will further flesh out Gilead in a meaningful way. Next up, House of the Dragon Season 3. Release date, TBA 2026. Though HBO's first Game of Thrones spin-off series, House of the Dragon, has been a resounding success by any typical metric, especially given how the original show ended, fans en masse were left extremely disappointed by the end of its second season, which concluded extremely abruptly, all while fans knew they had around 2 whole years to wait for another episode to come along and spill the beans of what's happening next. Well, thank God we're only about 6 months away from Season 3 finally reaching us, and it will focus on the escalating Targaryen civil war known as the Dance of the Dragons. While set pieces should be expected, and a few recognizable faces will also be joining the ever-expanding ensemble cast, namely James Norton, Tommy Flanagan, Dan Fogler, and Tom Cullen. All in all, Season 3 should compellingly set the stage for the show's 4th and final volume, which has already been confirmed and greenlit by HBO, though probably won't be with us until 2028 at the earliest. On the way, The Studio Season 2, release date TBA 2026. Apple TV's The Studio was one of the most acclaimed shows of 2025, a ludicrously entertaining Hollywood satire topped by outstanding performances and its mind-bogglingly impressive use of long takes. Strong viewership and a record-smashing 23 Emmy noms, of which it won 13, including Outstanding Comedy Series, made it clear that Apple had a huge hit on their hands. Enough that, yeah, they were confident to renew it for Season 2 before its first batch of episodes had even finished airing, which is an amazing flex. Though little is known about Season 2 so far, we do know that filmmaker Sarah Polley, who memorably appeared in an episode of the first season, has joined the writer's room this season, which can pretty much only be a good thing. And yeah, apart from that, just expect more brilliant satire, more bewilderingly long takes, and obviously, the best part, all those juicy, unexpected movie cameos, because goddamn, that last season was stacked. So excited for the next one. Next up, Half Man. Release date, TBA 2026. If you don't know what Half Man is, well, believe me when I tell you that it should immediately skyrocket to the top of your must-see list, given that it's the new series from Richard Gadd, who was of course responsible for 2024's most talked about shows, the Emmy-winning and controversial Baby Reindeer. This 6-episode Scotland-set drama series revolves around Reuben, played by Gadd, who suddenly shows up at the wedding of his estranged brother Niall, played by Jamie Bell, leading to a life-changing explosion of violence. And no, it's not the karaoke they have booked. This gets seriously goopy, or so we're told. The ambitious series is said to span decades of the brothers' lives, and though the finer details remain firmly under wraps, it's easy to have faith given that Gadd will once again be serving as the series' creator, writer, and lead actor. We've only seen a single image from Half Man so far, which shows a noticeably bulked up Gadd, who has evidently packed on a decent amount of muscle to play Reuben. Next up, Vision Quest. Release date, TBA 2026. Vision Quest is a follow-up to Disney's smash hit Marvel series WandaVision, which is somehow 5 years old now, focused instead on Paul Bettany's vision after he was rebuilt in all-white form and had his memories restored. Here, the Viz will embark on something of a spiritual quest to reconnect with his memories, while series creator Terry Matalas, who did a wonderful job on the final season of Star Trek Picard, has likened his arc to Spock's journey in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, so make of that what you will. The wider cast is also pretty wild for this one. James Spader will reprise the role of an Ultron, most likely as an AI hallucination, while Todd Stashwick will play the villainous Paladin, a bounty hunter chasing Vision down. Anthony Miller will also portray Ultron's vengeful bride, Jocasta, which again, if you're a Marvel Comics guy, reader, dude, whatever, well, that's a pretty exciting deep pull. And of course, with this being a follow-up to WandaVision, many are speculating that Elizabeth Olsen may also appear as Wanda Maximoff, though Olsen insists that she isn't, for what little her NDA-clad word on the matter might be worth to you. Next up, Cape Fear. Release date, TBA 2026. While you might be a bit tempted to roll your eyes at yet another Cape Fear adaptation, especially with The Simpsons, kind of just redefining that story with its own episode, it becomes a little tougher to resist knowing that this version stars Javier Bardem and is being produced by Steven Spielberg. Much as both the 1962 and 1991 films starring Robert Mitchum and Robert De Niro respectively are still supremely watchable today, the allure of an actor as singularly intense as Bardem bringing his own take on psychopath Max Cady is basically undeniable. Plus, the approach of a longer-form TV series may well open up storytelling and characterization opportunities that weren't available in the two films, which are both masterpieces, but again, this is a really exciting twist on that story, and I didn't really think that they would actually have the juice to do it again. The cast also makes this even more exciting, on top of Bardem, because we also have Amy Adams and Patrick Wilson as the central couple, CCH Pounder, Ron Perlman, Ted Levine, and Patrick Fischler. It's a really, really great cast. Remains to be seen if they can top the Pepto-Bismol whiskey-swilling Joe Don Baker character from the remake, though. That is an iconic mixer if ever there was one. Next up, Blade Runner 2099. Release date, TBA 2026. Though it sadly seems terribly unlikely we'll get a big screen sequel to Blade Runner 2049 anytime soon, considering how badly it did at the box office, this follow-up TV show should provide some much-needed solace. Hopefully. Blade Runner 2099 is, of course, set 50 years after the Denis Villeneuve's masterful movie sequel, focused on an entirely new set of characters led by Olwen, played by Michelle Yeoh, a replicant who is facing the end of her life. Hunter Schafer will co-lead the show as a character named Cora, and Furiosa star Tom Burke is also set to appear. We know very little about the Amazon Prime series so far, but considering the rich yet mysterious nature of Blade Runner's world, there's clearly a whole ton of room for some meaningful expansion. Here's hoping they pull it off and keep the IP relevant in the eyes of the Hollywood bean counters, because yeah, a proper Blade Runner 2049 sequel would go seriously hard. Next up, The Burrows. Release date, TBA 2026. If you assume the Duffer Brothers might be taking a well-earned break following the conclusion of Stranger Things' 5th season, well, think again, buddy, as they're already executive producing their next project, a Netflix sci-fi series called The Burrows. And yeah, from the off, the show certainly touts an amusingly off-the-wall premise, taking place in a New Mexico retirement community where a group of elderly residents band together to stop an otherworldly threat from quote-unquote stealing the one thing they don't have: time. The show has been created by Jeffrey Addis and Will Matthews, the people behind The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance, who have promised a blend of dark mystery and heartfelt storytelling. And also, the cast for this one is absolutely stacked, which should be expected given it's a Duffer Brothers production, but yeah, we've got Bill Pullman here, Gina Davis, Clark Peters, Alfred Molina, Alfred Woodward, Jenna Malone, Ed Begley Jr., Jane Kasmarek, and Dee Wallace. That's a hell of a good cast. While, yeah, it'll probably struggle to reach the pop cultural penetration of Stranger Things, and frankly, what wouldn't, the cast, crew, and concept all have the makings of an easy smash hit in its own right. Next up, Lanterns. Release date, mid-2026. Warner Brothers' whole future may be in a state of flux, but James Gunn continues the industrious expansion of his fledgling DC universe with its third TV series following Creature Commandos and Peacemaker. Lanterns. Lanterns will revolve around the Green Lantern characters Hal Jordan and John Stewart, played by Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre respectively, as they investigate a murder in Nebraska which leads them to something far darker. Though Green Lantern has famously proven a tough nut to crack as far as superheroes go for Hollywood, James Gunn has proven himself uniquely equipped to deal with offbeat comic book characters time and time again. And again, DC fans have been saying this for decades. Green Lantern done right on the big or small screen could easily be DC's own Star Wars. Like, it could be a huge franchise. Green Lantern is a great mythos to draw from. And there are obviously some really positive signs already here, given that Guy Gardner showed up in the Superman movie played by Nathan Fillion and was a great time all around. Gunn isn't the showrunner here though. It'll instead be overseen by the promising team of Chris Mundy, Ozark, Criminal Minds, Damon Lindelof of Lost and Watchmen fame, and comic book writer Tom King, who has a knack for delving into the psychology of DC's heroes. Most notably Mr. Miracle and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which is also the inspiration for the upcoming Supergirl film directed by Craig Gillespie. In addition to Chandler and Pierre, Fillion will reprise his role as Gardner in the show, while the wider cast will include Kelly MacDonald, Garrett Dillahunt, Nicole Ari Parker, Jason Pitcher, Laura Linney, and Paula Patton. Yeah, I'm really hyped for this. On the way, The Bear Season 5. Release date, TBA 2026. Though it's fair to say that The Bear peaked in its electrifying second season, and the responses to seasons 3 and 4 proved decidedly more mixed, it's still one of the most gripping, artful, and brilliantly acted shows airing right now. And production is imminently set to begin on the series' 5th season, which has been intensely speculated to be its last as well, given that creator Christopher Storer originally pitched it to FX with a 5-season arc. And given that some viewers feel that the show is beginning to run its course and the movie careers of stars Jeremy Allen White, Eben Moss-Backrack, and Ayo Edebiri are starting to take flight, it would absolutely make sense for The Bear to bow out with its next batch of episodes. If Storer can deliver an impactful ending for this low-key, epic restaurant saga, then it'll easily cement The Bear as one of the greatest TV dramas of the last decade. So yeah, 2026, lots of good stuff to look forward to. Let me know your favorites in the comments below.